I mean, to me, honestly, like, I always looked at punk as more of a way of thinking, if you will. You know, it's kind of more that part of you that's just like, man, I want to do this. Like, this is the norm, I want to do that. If there's a heavy metal show and then they book a jazz band in there, that's punk.
Hi, welcome back. This episode is about Ray Barbee, who was actually the first pro board I ever had. I think to me, he looked different. He just looks cool when he skates. And even back then, those old videos, I remember when Bandless came out, seeing his skating, and he would do like a bunch of no complies and then a kick flip, and I'd think like, wow, I can't believe he can do all those tricks in a row. It doesn't take him like 10 tries to do each trick or whatever. And I sat down with Ray and asked him a little bit about filming for those old Powell videos. He's a really awesome skater. And this is it, the Ray Barbee episode.
How long have you been skating?
6 years.
When'd you start?
6 years ago.
When I first got into skateboarding, it was, you know, again, it was in between 6th and 7th grade. And I had a friend named Danny that I always hung out with. We rode bikes together all summer. And for his birthday, he got a skateboard, you know, and it was just like, whoa. You know, it made such an impression on me. And he was riding that, and I was riding my bike, and I was like, man, I want to get a skateboard. So he was like, well, my dad used to skate. Let me see if he has his old skateboard out in the garage. So sure enough, we went in the garage and found it, and it was a Sims wood kick. It's like a 70s board, you know. There was a group of guys that were like, you know, what'd you guys do over the summer? And we're like, dude, we skateboarded. They're like, you skateboard? We skateboard too, come hang out with us. One of the guys, he had a quarter pipe. We started off there just learning tricks, like be in a line in the garage, hit it, come back, get in line, and then do that, you know. Because of the ramps, then it was a lot of the vert pros that I would hear about. Like we knew that there was Caballero in San Jose. And these are all the guys that we were like, whoa, we want to be like, we want to rip like they do kind of thing, you know. And it was crazy because back then it was so different. Like nowadays kids are like, give me a board, or give me a sticker, or whatever, you know. And we were just like, whoa, we didn't want to bug them. We were like, whoa, like we didn't want to say nothing to him. We were just like, let him do his thing, you know. So
Was Public Domain the first video you were in?
that was the first video, yeah. Well, you know what? I was in Sick Boys, but Public Domain was definitely the first like featured thing of me, for sure. Yeah, it was called The Rubber Boys, that segment, and it was Steve Size, Chet Thomas, and Eric Sanderson, and myself. You know, because of, for us, street was being so new, the list was blank. So for us, it was really exciting because it was like, what, we can just make up tricks, you know? So we had a lot of fun just kind of stumbling across things and making up tricks. And I think a lot of the stuff that we stumbled on were things that people had never seen. Because street skating, you know, I almost liken it to like underground hip hop or indie music or something where it's like its own culture, it's doing things, but it takes something to bring it to light. But once that one thing gets brought to light, people think that that's the first time, but it was happening for so long in whatever you want to say, in its little culture and in its little scene. It had been going on for years, but it's just a matter of it getting surfaced out, and then that's when people always link it to that. But it was going on for a while, so.
And what was the process for filming then? It was just sort of like one day, just skating around?
3 days total was all that footage was 3 days. And it's funny because Stacy wanted it to look like one day. So I remember we skate, like get going at like 7 in the morning, be done at like 8 at night or whatever. And he'd want us to put on the same clothes the next day, and we did that for 3 days straight. Like, yeah, same Levi's and the same shirt and the same shoes. Maybe switch out the socks.
So then the next video was Bandless?
Bandless was right after Public Domain, yeah.
And I remember in that one you had like lots of lines, like it would be like
yeah.
7 tricks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the first one with my own part.
When you decided what spots you were going to go to, did you decide or did Stacy decide?
No, that's what was cool for me. Like a lot of those spots were like the first times I ever skated them. Because we'd just get with Stacy, and Stacy would just drive around and be like, you want to skate that? And be like, cool.
It looked like some of it he was looking for like scenery and not so much like...
It was before the days of like where you find spots and film one thing. It was, back then it was more like, let's just capture the feel of what it's like to just go skating. Go skating out in the street, you know, so. And I could tell definitely around band this time, Stacy was getting more of an idea of what he wanted to do visually. So he would take me to spots, and I'd be like, okay, you just want me to skate on the ground right here? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
Did you feel like then a part was about, like you said, like expressing skating? Or did you ever
Well,
feel
it's
that?
hard to say. I mean, because it's always easy to see what it grew into and then look back and then try to think, like, did you feel like you wished it would have been like this?
Yeah.
But it was way before any of that. So it was what it was. It was just being created.
Yeah.
So there was the only goal was, let's just be on our boards. And okay, you're documenting it, but to me, the whole video thing was so new. It was like, I didn't know what was gonna come of any of this. For street skating back then, there weren't too many parts. Again, it was such new terrain, new area, you know. I mean, I dig where it is now. I mean, there's a place for all of it, you know, because of the growth of it. The reality is the way skateboarding's got pushed, it just got to a place to where you can't do that in 3 days. There's just no way to physically pull that off. It takes a long time because of where it's got pushed. So that's great because everything's got to get pushed, man. You can't stay still. Everything's got to keep moving and growing and growing. And